Only the most fearless and courageous ghost hunters are invited. These terrifying tales are not suitable for the weak of heart. The best ghost and horror stories have an uncanny ability to make you feel real, believable, and absolutely terrified. They almost promise that you will spend at least one night, if not more, tossing and turning, listening for creaking floors and the sound of ghostly moaning. Naturally, such is the paradox of ghost stories. Your ability to sleep at night will worsen the better they are. This is true even if you're a die-hard supernatural believer. You know, the kind of person who has learned the history of Halloween, isn't frightened to look at some spooky pictures, is familiar with the origins of Halloween monsters, and spends Friday the 13th reading Ouija board tales. We've gathered some eerie tales that are sure to frighten you in the spirit of the season. They're all based on actual incidents. In order to prepare for ghost stories so genuine and horrifying that you won't be able to sleep through the night, turn out the lights, if you're courageous enough. Those tiny hands. Reddit user Patented Spacehook recounts a real incident by saying, "I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen." Other homes on her street also experienced weird occurrences. A family resided a few houses away from her. The girl had a terrible headache when she went to bed one night. She was gone the following day, having died of an aneurysm. The father instructed my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their dogs after her funeral as the family left to distract themselves from the tragedy. He invited my mother and father, who were at the time dating, since she wanted to play the grand piano there. My father was pursuing his veterinary degree. My mother went to the piano on the ground level as soon as we entered the house, while my uncle and father proceeded to the basement to examine the animals. When she felt something brush her ankles, she was still playing. She reasoned that a cat must have emerged from the cellar and moved past her. Her game continued. Then it came back to her again. She searched underneath the piano but found nothing. She felt hands tightly grab her legs as she was startled. My father and uncle were waiting for her as she hurried to the basement entrance. My mum was visibly shaken when my uncle returned outside, and he inquired as to what was happening. He turned white when she explained what had occurred. He revealed to her that the deceased daughter and her deceased father used to play a game. She would scurry underneath him as he played the piano, grip his ankles, and move his feet up and down the pedals. The phantom patient. Reddit. Com user Zervo recalls, the ambulance firm that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never gave paranormal stuff much of a chance. Until I had my own Rig 12 experience, that is. At 3 in the morning it was entirely dark and peaceful where my partner and I were working in a remote area. I was driving, she was in the passenger seat, and we were both nodding off. When a voice woke me up, I mistakenly assumed it was my spouse speaking. I informed her that I was attempting to sleep and shut my eyes. "Oh my God, am I dying?" was clearly heard in a male voice, which was followed by some heavy breathing for a few seconds. My companion and I sat up upright and turned to face the direction the voice appeared to have come from in the patient compartment. At 3 in the morning it was entirely dark and peaceful where my partner and I were working in a remote area. I was driving, she was in the passenger seat, and we were both nodding off. When a voice woke me up, I mistakenly assumed it was my spouse speaking. I informed her that I was attempting to sleep and shut my eyes. "Oh my God, am I dying?" was clearly heard in a male voice, which was followed by some heavy breathing for a few seconds. My companion and I sat up upright and turned to face the direction the voice appeared to have come from in the patient compartment. The Impish ghost. For years, my neighbor Diane and I had a jovial poltergeist that we named Billy. This is how Reddit user Abba's Alibi starts their true ghost story. When I got home, I discovered things that had been placed in odd places, like milk in a cabinet, toilet paper in the refrigerator, and laundry detergent in the bathroom. When Diane couldn't find a gallon of milk, she once called Billy to see if he had been around. Finally, it was discovered outside on her back stairs. Also, sugar, oh sugar. My sugar bowl was empty every morning. When I had had enough, I would yell, "Go visit Diane," and point to her house. She'd give me a call in about 5 minutes. She would say, "Thanks a lot." He had gone and committed mischief at her house. Throughout the 2 years we were there, this kept happening. Nobody, not even our husbands, had any faith in us. My mother believed that whether we were asleep or away from the house, someone was robbing us. My sister thought there was something going on, but she wasn't sure what. I'm still unable to express anything.